God bless you. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to you and your family. This is your boy, Pastor Q, coming to you from Second Chance Church. Pray that everybody had an amazing holiday weekend. Really quick word coming from the word of the day, actually, is Matthew 6:3, where it says, when you give to someone in need, don't let the left hand know what the right hand is doing. So really quick word on that as we celebrate this Christmas holiday. What are you doing? That's the question. What are you doing? Father God, you're dope. You're awesome in all your way. Happy birthday to you, King Jesus. We celebrate this day on earth known to man, but we celebrate you every day because you give us life, God. Thank you for just being who you are. Thank you for taking the time out of your awesome power to come down onto this earth, God, to be an example to us men who still need to learn from you. Now, God, allow your word to go forth the way that you orchestrated and ordained it to be. Let it penetrate the hearts of your people, God. Remove all of me and increase all of you. In Jesus' name, amen. What are you doing? What are you doing? This is a really quick word because it struck me as we deal with everything with the holiday. And you see all the folks out here who are giving and wanting things to be given to them on the side of the road and things of that nature. And a lot of things I see on social media now is a matter of just look at what I'm doing and look at how I'm doing this for somebody else. And I'm reminded quickly how Jesus, when he blessed and healed and delivered, he didn't want anybody to know who it was. He said, don't tell nobody of this thing. And I get it that and some theologians say, well, it was before his time and ministry, and he didn't want to be found out who he was before it was his time to do his 3 years of ministry or whatever the case may be. But I believe it was the humility of him. It was just who he was as a being. Was he didn't want no applause, even though he deserved all the glory and the power and deserved all of the accolades that came along with everything he did. He wanted to teach humility, and I think that's something that we have to get back to, whereas we need to be humble and realize that it's a gift to be able to be a giver. But it's not for you to stand on the stage and get an award or stand an ovation for what you're supposed to be doing in the earth anyways. You're a representation of Christ, and that's what we ought to be doing. But here, these days, it's a matter of just being seen and wanting people to say, oh man, look at you, and you gay, go you. But it ain't you. It's Christ who's allowing you to be able to be blessed the way that you are and to give and to be able to bless others. But I go a little bit deeper into that as far as giving and things of that nature. What are you doing? Are you one that is giving, or are you just a taker? And you got to think about that as we go into 2022. I'm analyzing that, whereas there's certain folks and certain things that I'm doing in my life now, whereas I'm not going to allow myself to be depleted. Joel Osteen said this, it was pretty dope. Well, he was saying that you can't just keep allowing people to just take from you all the time. What are they depositing? And I think about that. If they're not depositing anything, they're always withdrawing from you. That's going to make you kind of negative. You know what I'm saying? It's going to put you in a negative space, whereas the only time you see this person call your phone, the only time you hear from this person's voice or they text you or something is when they want something from you. But what are you depositing into me? What are you depositing into my life, into my spirit? If you're constantly draining my account and draining my spirit and draining my finances and resources, when is the last time you deposited something into me to make me want to be able to say, you know, I'm going to put this to the side so that way when you come back next time, I can have something to give to you? But it always shows up, or some folks always show up, and it gets to a place where you just don't even want to withdraw anything else for them. They're in the red, and it doesn't matter. I don't have nothing else to give to you. But thank God for his grace and his mercy that you still do it just because of who he is. Not to say that, man, you're dope or you're awesome or thank you in spite of. It's a matter of because this is the grace and mercy that Christ extends to us, whereas we only come to him at times where we need something, or we only reach out to him when times get rough. Make sure in 2022 that you're depositing more. What are you doing? In 2022, make sure that you're doing something. Make sure that you're doing something to deposit into somebody else's life, to deposit into the kingdom, to deposit into spirituality, to deposit into resources to where it's going to be able to have a benefit in the end. Think about that even as you work and day to day, you busting your butt and you're working every day 2 weeks to get paid and stuff. Are you saving anything? Are you depositing anything into savings to build yourself and prepare yourself for the latter half of your life where you can relax and don't have to depend on working for this corporation or this company anymore? Are you depositing anything that you can go back to and say that there's something there? Now, think about that in relationships as well. Can you go to these relationships now and look at what's been deposited and say that there's something there that I can withdraw from? Or when you go back to these relationships, is it something that's like it's always negative? It's always a deficit. It's always you leaving that situation or that conversation more depleted than you were when you came into it. So take some time to think about that and look at what you are doing in 2022. I pray that you gave out of your heart in abundance this year. And to those who are not just saying to get something back from them, but you gave in a mindset and a perspective to say, that, I just want to be a blessing to others. But don't be a fool to the point either. It was a matter of you just giving of yourself and ain't nobody giving you nothing back. You gotta make sure that you're making vital choices in these last and evil days, man. You gotta make sure that you're surrounded by the right mindsets. You're surrounded by the right folks that have something to deposit into you. I think about just where I am in my life right now as I get older, man. It's just a matter of my time is very valuable to me. You know what I'm saying? I don't just waste time no more. I don't have time like that to be just frivolously wasting time. You know what I'm saying? It's a matter of it has to be a purpose for me to be able to do something now, because I want to make memories that mean something now. You know what I'm saying? And I want to be able to look back and say, what did I gain from that experience? And what did I leave? What did I deposit into that experience? And be able to relish on that and be like, wow, I actually received something from that, and I actually gave something from that at the same time. So what are you doing in 2022? What are you depositing in 2022? What are you giving in 2022? God bless you. I hope you have an amazing day, man. Stop letting people run you dry. That's the last piece of that word. Stop letting people run your well rugged and ragged and dry. If the only time they show up is when they got their hand out or fill my cup or fill my plate, listen, let me tell you something. There are people who, you got to get to a place in your life where you have a table set spiritually, financially, emotionally, to where you can go to a table around folks that just as much as they take off your plate, you could put something on your plate from theirs. You understand what I'm saying? You got to have kind of like a spiritual potluck these days. That's my mindset. I want to have a spiritual potluck in my life. Whereas if I come around folks, I want to make sure that there's something that they can take off my plate, and there's something that I can put on my plate that's going to enhance my meal. We'll do a potluck series or something next year. But what are you adding to my plate that's going to benefit my meal? Does your potato salad have raisins in it? Because I don't eat that. No. Are you putting something on my plate that's going to enhance the meal that God is preparing for me? And if not, you can keep that. If all you're doing is, ooh, let me take a piece of your ham, ooh, let me take your turkey, ooh, let me take your greens, and ooh, I'm gonna take some of your potato salad. I ain't got nothing left to eat because I done gave all my stuff off my plate to you. But what are you depositing? What are you putting into my plate that's gonna benefit me in the end? That's gonna make me say, this tastes really great, or it's gonna make me just say, just throw the whole thing away because I don't want it. So think about that as you go into next year, man. I pray that you have an amazing week. This is the last week of 2021. It has been a year, man. It has truly been a year. So I definitely am grateful and honored to still be breathing amongst the living. Continue to just hug your loved ones and wrap your arms around those that are you surrounded by. Don't take life for granted, man. Bishop Desmond Tutu passed away this past evening. So just don't take life for granted. Granted, he lived 90 years. But I look at my life right now, whereas it's like that second half, this second half of my life, oh, it's going to be lit. This second half of my life, oh, it's going to be dope. You know what I'm saying? Because I look at everybody in the Bible, whereas that's when they started to really live. You know what I'm saying? Abraham and all of them, that's when they really started to really turn up. It's where God really started to turn up, is in the second and the latter half. But don't you sit around those folks who continue to deplete you in your latter half to the point that you just don't have nothing left to give. You understand? Be very careful how you treat people. Be very careful how you treat people. It's vital. What are you doing? God bless you. Have an amazing week.